Namo Didafa, good morning. Thank you for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. Third mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by sexual misconduct, I vow to cultivate responsibility and learn ways to protect the safety and integrity of individuals, couples, families, and society. I'm determined not to engage in sexual relations without love and a long-term commitment. To preserve the happiness of myself and others, I'm determined to respect my commitments and the commitments of others. I will do everything in my power to protect children from sexual abuse and to prevent couples and families from being broken by sexual misconduct. For our Dharma readings, we've been reading a book by the nuns of Amaravati called The Body, Dhamma Reflections on Aging, Illness, and Death. This morning we're beginning a Dhamma talk by Ajahn Candasiri called Reflecting on Well-Being. One of the things that most interests me is a sense of well-being. So I'd like to reflect on a chant that we do very frequently in the monastery. The Pali begins, Aham Sukhito Homi, Niduko Homi, Avaro Homi, Abhaya Pajo Homi, Anigo Homi, Sukhi Atanam Pariharami. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. The word sukhito can be translated as happy or blessed, a sense of blessedness or being blessed. This is something we can consider. We might see being blessed as something to do with angels and saints or special people, but we can also consider in what sense we ourselves are blessed. In fact, that is something we can bring about simply through the way we live our lives at the most ordinary level. For example, we can practice generosity, which may involve something as simple as having time for each other, really listening to one another. I don't like talking to people when I feel they haven't got time for me. I'd rather not bother. On the other hand, an extraordinary feeling comes when I sense that somebody is able to take the time to give me their full attention. It might just be a couple of minutes, but I find the sense that a person is right there and able to be with me extremely nourishing. And I realize that when I can do the same for other people, they too will find it nourishing. I think we could solve a lot of problems for each other by just being able to do this. It can bring about a kind of healing. This is a form of generosity, of whose value we can easily underestimate. We can also reflect on the goodness or virtue of our lives. This is another source of blessing. Sila, the way we keep the precepts, how we use and apply them in our lives. It too can bring a feeling of well-being. We can take care to avoid harming anything, even a mosquito, a slug, or a spider that we might not like particularly, that we are frightened of or find repulsive. But they too want to live. They too want to be well. What gradually arises when we live carefully and responsibly in this way is a sense of gladness, which is perhaps what we mean by this feeling of being blessed. It's a feeling of rejoicing in the presence of other beings, in their welfare and happiness. So even very simple beginnings in generosity, kindliness, upholding a precept structure, are a foundation for a sense of blessing that we can enjoy in our lives. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for joining me this morning.